Let's do it. Our Jasmine winter beanies. We start with the slip knot, and what we will do first is foundation chain of puff stitches. If you need instruction how to do puff stitch, there is already video on my channel. How many puff stitches you will need, it's depending on the head size you would like to make. I need 22 puff stitches to create beanie for my head. So this is what I'm doing right now, just the foundation chain. So please make as many as you need, and I will show you how to connect the circle. I made 22 puff stitches and I want to close my circle. There is two ways to close the circle. The easy way would be making sure that all your puff stitches are aligned and connecting your stitch here with the slip knot. I do a little bit differently, and you don't need to do the way I do. I just want to show you how I do to make this gap a little bit less visible. I make sure that all my puff stitches are aligned, there is no twisting in my chain, and then instead of going to this open chain, I actually remove one of my stitch. That's number 22, and I will start this stitch without finishing first. Then I go to the other end of my chain, and instead of connecting here, I will go in between every single loop I have from the chain one. Now I will pull the yarn through the first loop, and I will go back to pick up that chain one, just for more security with connection. Now I will pull through every single loop, and as you see, I have only one, so I have to go back here in the middle, make another loop, and close that. So I'm in the middle, and I have nice even spaces around. Of course, this I will hide later the end of the yarn. Our row first is completed. I'm making the same size, but you can see, actually I will show you, it's not, it looks like it's not, but actually it's exactly the same size when you stretch. And when you checking how many stitches you want to make sure you stretch your puff stitches for your head size. Okay, row number 1 is completed. Let's start with row number 2. In row number 2, in every row that you start, before you start reducing stitches, you will make exactly the same thing. You start with 1 puff stitch, you place your marker on the top of the stitch if you need to remember where is the top of your row. So I mark this is the top of my second row. Now what you will be doing all the way around will be adding 3 puff stitches together. So let me show you how to do that. You start with the puff stitch, Before you pinch your yarn, you do not want to complete this puff stitch because you want to make 3 puff stitches together. So we will yarn over and we will go to the bottom of that stitch and do the same thing. Before we pinch the yarn, we want to add 1 more. So we yarn over and we go to the next opening here, which will be our next stitch. Now we have 3 open, not closed yet puff stitches. We will pinch the yarn and we will pull our yarn through all 3. And take your time. It's, you know, sometimes you can lose your yarn, go back, and you're closing the puff stitch exactly the same way like any other puff stitch. So you have 2 and 1. Let me show you again, because that's what you will be doing all around in every row before the reducing stitches rows. I have 1 incompleted, yarn over, I'm going to the bottom of my stitch, incompleted, I'm going to the next stitch, now I have 3 open puff stitches, and I pinch my yarn and I pull through all the loops, go back, yarn over, pull through, tight if you need to, and close the stitch. Once you get used to this stitch works super fast and you make your beanie in no time. One thing in mind also when you do that, make sure that the height of your petals are the same. Don't make one smaller, one longer. We just want all the petals to be the same. So if you are comfortable with this, please do this all the way around, and I will meet you in the end of this row to show you how to make the last stitch to close our circle and complete the row. You need to make 4 petals. You already have 3, so you need only 1, and this one already has 4 petals, and you need 1 on the top. So in order to close this row and any other row, you will make 1 puff stitch, incompleted, you will yarn over, you go to the bottom of that stitch, and now normally you will go to the next. You will not do that because this one, it's already finished. You already have 4 petals. So instead of going to the next one, you go where your stitch marker is to close the row. You pull yarn through. This will be as you're pinching yarn, so you will pull through all your loops on a hook. And then you go back to this opening, pull the yarn through and slip stitch